Once upon a time, a curious little girl named Alice sat on the riverbank with her sister. As her sister read a book, Alice began to feel bored. Suddenly, a white rabbit wearing a waistcoat and carrying a pocket watch ran past her, muttering, "Oh dear, I'm late." Intrigued, Alice decided to follow the rabbit. She chased him to a rabbit hole, and before she knew it, she fell down a deep tunnel. She landed in a strange and magical place called Wonderland. Alice found herself in a room with many doors, all of which were locked. On a table, she saw a tiny golden key and a bottle labeled "Drink Me." Curious, she took a sip from the bottle and immediately began to shrink until she was small enough to fit through one of the tiny doors. Beyond the door was a beautiful garden. As Alice explored Wonderland, she encountered many peculiar and whimsical characters. She met the Cheshire Cat, a grinning feline who could appear and disappear at will. The Cheshire Cat told Alice that everyone in Wonderland was mad and suggested she visit the March Hare and the Mad Hatter. Alice joined the March Hare, the Mad Hatter, and the Sleepy Dormouse for a bizarre tea party. The table was chaotic, with teacups and saucers everywhere, and the conversation made no sense at all. The Mad Hatter and the March Hare spoke in riddles, and the Dormouse kept falling asleep. Though Alice found the tea party frustrating, she couldn't help but be amused by the madness of it all. As Alice continued her journey, she came across a garden where she met the Queen of Hearts, a fiery and temperamental ruler who was obsessed with shouting, "Eat off with their heads." The Queen invited Alice to play a game of croquet, but it was unlike any game Alice had ever seen. The mallets were flamingos, the balls were hedgehogs, and the rules kept changing to suit the Queen's whims. The Queen's court was filled with playing card soldiers, and the King of Hearts was a timid figure who rarely opposed his wife. The Queen was quick to accuse anyone of wrongdoing, and her constant threats of execution kept everyone on edge. Eventually, Alice found herself on trial for a crime she didn't commit. The trial was chaotic, with nonsense evidence and silly accusations. As the Queen shouted for Alice's execution, Alice began to grow larger and larger. "You're nothing but a pack of cards," Alice exclaimed, swatting away the Queen and her court as they flew at her. Suddenly, everything began to spin, and Alice found herself back on the riverbank with her sister. It had all been a dream. Though her adventure in Wonderland was strange and nonsensical, Alice couldn't help but smile as she thought about the peculiar characters and bizarre events she had experienced. Moral of the story: imagination is a wonderful gift, but it's also important to think critically and stay true to oneself, even in the face of absurdity.